So Alley Cat Tattoo is approaching 25 years. Next year, next September, will be 25 years of Alley Cat Tattoo. And we are the premier, number one, top dog tattoo shop in Virginia. But we aren't always that way. So when we first opened up, we weren't in this location. We were a quarter mile down the street at 990 Reservoir Street. And I didn't have a lot of bread, but I had business cards always. And we would make flyers on our copier always. And so every single building at James Madison University had a ton of cork boards, bulletin boards all throughout their buildings. The fraternity houses had them. The sorority houses had them. Every building had them. This was in 2001, so you could move around freely on campus. You could go in and out, pretty much. There wasn't anything stopping you. So I would go into every fucking building on campus, and I would put up a flyer on every bulletin board in every building. Most of these buildings, you could go up the stairs in one end of the building, go through, and then down the stairs on the other end. And I would just walk building to building to building, put them up. I would go to the food court and put them up. I would go to the fraternity houses and put them up. And I would just walk in the fraternity house, not knowing anybody and them not knowing who the fuck I was. And I would walk in there, walk past anybody. I'd go in their kitchen. I'd put one on the fridge, throw a magnet up, whatever. And people, they would just look at me like, what the fuck is he doing? I'd just say what's up, or I wouldn't say nothing at all. There are a couple times where people will challenge me, what are you doing here? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm not doing nothing. Just put it up and leave, Everywhere I went, because I didn't have a crib at first. Me and Andrew were either sleeping in the shop or staying with people. And so, I couldn't cook. There was no kitchen down there. So we would eat every meal out. And I would pay my tab and then I'd put a business card with it. And I would always try to tip fat, and I'd put a business card with it. And anytime I folded up the little, when you get your bill and you fold it up, I always put a business card in there. Every doorman in town had my business card. Every bartender in town had my business card. Andrew was busting his ass at getting better at painting and tattooing. And I was busting my ass trying to make sure that everyone in town came in the door to see how good he was getting at painting and tattooing. And I just didn't take no for an answer. I just flooded the streets. They would go in those buildings, take that shit down. I would go back the next day, 2 days later, 3 days later, I'd do it again. Eventually, I got a cease and desist letter from the dean at JMU saying if I entered the campus or any of these buildings again, that I'd be arrested. I was barred from all of campus. But I didn't give a fuck. I would send Porter in. I would send Porter to the Chick-fil-A on campus and say, every person that's in line, make sure they get a flyer. We would just do it all. We would just flood this town so that everybody knew that Alley Cat Tattoo was the spot.